And today I want to talk about what a sore loser looks like. I'm going to be talking about Vitalik Buterin and Ethereum. So the basic background for this is you've had a lot of cryptocurrencies coming out and saying that they are going to become the new global reserve currency. We have XRP, people saying this for many years. We have Ethereans saying it for many years. And then a little piece of news comes out in 2021 where the first country actually makes Bitcoin legal tender. The response, the salty tears, has been unbelievable from the altcoin promoters. Vitalik Buterin yesterday basically criticizing the head of El Salvador and saying that this move runs counter to the ideals of freedom. He made these comments, Vitalik made these comments in a Reddit forum. Of course, it's the r/cryptocurrency Reddit forum. And his comments are the highest upvoted ones. So I just want to excerpt them here. Making it mandatory for businesses to accept a specific cryptocurrency is contrary to the ideals of freedom that are supposed to be so important to the crypto space. Additionally, this tactic of pushing BTC to millions of people in El Salvador, this is Vitalik speaking, of course, at the same time with almost no attempt at prior education, is reckless and risks a large number of innocent people getting hacked or scammed. Shame on everyone. Okay, fine, I'll call out the main people responsible. Shame on Bitcoin maximalists who are uncritically praising him. Well, the first thing that jumped out at me in this post was Vitalik, for once, being very worried about a large number of innocent people getting hacked or scammed. Of course, this was never his concern during the ICO boom when you had all of these terrible coins coming out, almost all of them built on Ethereum, and almost all of them going down 99%. And it was mostly the naive retail investor who got wrecked by this sort of thing. And the bubble in ICOs was completely driven and built on Ethereum. And the same thing's happening now if you look at DeFi. This website, Wrecked News, goes through all the hacks, all the innocent money lost on the new DeFi system that's built on Ethereum. The next thing Vitalik criticizes is doing business with dictators. And this is a little bit hypocritical. People have a short memory. Of course, Vitalik didn't have a problem meeting with Putin. He didn't have a problem with the Ethereum Foundation courting people like bin Salman. If you guys don't remember who bin Salman is, he played a role in this event. Finally, Vitalik, of course, helped defend an Etherean who went to North Korea to try to pump the currency there. I actually have no problem with people reaching out to everyone about their cryptocurrency, but I just think it's hypocritical to criticize it on a one-sided basis just when that dictator happens to accept Bitcoin and not the cryptocurrency Ethereum, which you privately printed up for yourself and insiders. The other thing Vitalik complains about in this Reddit post is businesses in El Salvador being forced to accept Bitcoin. Now, the technology that's being imposed on them is the hardest money ever created in human history. This is a little bit like imposing light bulbs and purified water and other technologies like this on a population, in my opinion, because it's a very advanced technology. But what Vitalik forgets to mention, of course, is that El Salvador allows merchants to immediately convert the Bitcoin they receive from customers to US dollars. So merchants don't have to take that exposure to Bitcoin if they don't want to. This truth was unfortunately not mentioned by Vitalik, even though I'm sure that he's aware of it. Also note that Vitalik, in his complaint, does not complain about businesses being forced to accept US dollars in El Salvador. He seems fine with that. And over the past few years, he spent, of course, zero time criticizing global legal tender laws. Of course, he all of a sudden gets very excited about legal tender laws when Bitcoin gets accepted and not Ethereum. Ironically, great tweet here from Grubels pointing out that Vitalik offered Ethereum improvement proposal number 1559, which forces Ethereum to be used as the fee-paying currency on the Ethereum network instead of more in-demand assets like USDT. So here's Vitalik, the dictator of Ethereum, basically imposing a legal tender law on his own network while criticizing someone else for doing it in their country. It's really important to mention that Bitcoin is for enemies. We can be against someone's human rights record and still praise them for making Bitcoin legal tender. Bitcoin is neutral money. And what this means is it's money for everyone. It's money for people you don't like. It's money for your enemies. It's money for your enemies' enemies. It's money for dictators, for freedom fighters, for proponents of democracy or liberal democracy, for left-wingers, for right-wingers. This is what neutral money looks like. It's not just for you and your insiders. What non-neutral money looks like is the US dollar. When people like Saddam Hussein stopped using the US dollar and started selling their oil for euros, they were invaded. The same thing happened, of course, with Gaddafi. And I'm not defending either of these guys. They were pretty brutal dictators in many respects. But the point here is we're trying to transition to a new monetary system. This monetary system is controlled by insiders, by those closest to the printing press, and it's not a neutral money. If you misbehave, you get invaded by the US. The problem with Ethereum is it's just recreating this fiat financial system where instead of Jerome Powell and the central bank, we have Vitalik Buterin and his insiders who will decide what the monetary policy is in the coming decade. I can tell you exactly what the money issuance or the money supply growth for Bitcoin will be in 2025, in 2030, in 2050. No one knows what it will be, what the monetary policy will be for Ethereum even next year, not to mention 5 or 10 or 50 years from now. This is because these monetary choices will be controlled by a very few number of people. Vitalik and other insiders and huge beneficiaries of the pre-mine. So it's extremely hypocritical for a local money dictator like Vitalik, who's just crying salty tears because a country accepted Bitcoin instead of his crappy currency, to point out Ethereum can never become credibly neutral money. And you need money that's neutral. Otherwise, the money gets captured and we end up with something just like the current system where those benefit from the money printers, those who are closest, the so-called Kantian or Cantillon effect. You cannot have credibly neutral money if you are Ethereum because you had a 70% pre-mine or you had this distribution to insiders who still hold very concentrated positions. You still have a central leader in the form of Vitalik with a bully pulpit who gets to have a very strong influence on deciding monetary policy and the direction of the project. And then you have another guy, I don't want to say his name, but I think his name rhymes with Cuban, and he actually controls Infura, where all the full nodes for Ethereum are run. He controls MetaMask, which is the main wallet used for Ethereum and on DeFi. He also seems to own 10 to 15% of the ETH supply. Again, this is just stuff that I've read online, and so I'm just reporting online rumors, and who knows if they're true. But this is the hypocrisy of Vitalik Buterin criticizing one dictator when he himself is a dictator. We don't want dictators. We want free, neutral money that can be used by anyone. And Vitalik really lets the mask slip in his criticisms here. You notice he only gets upset when Bitcoin is doing well. Vitalik Buterin is certainly an enemy of Bitcoin. What he's done, the huge distractions in the space that he's provided, all the ICOs, all the retail investors wrecked by him, and there's no remorse. The guy is completely out of touch, and I think his recent reaction really lets the veil slip.